What's up, everybody? My name is Tommy Griffith. I'm one of the co-founders of ClickMinded. Today, we're going to be talking about how to spin up a full marketing workspace. This is exactly how I set up a client project management folder in 5 minutes or less. Now, if you're running a modern day digital marketing agency or consultancy, of course you are using AI in your day-to-day work. You might be using it in different degrees. Some people use it more or less. Some people use ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini, Mistral or Llama, whatever it is, but you're very likely using AI to some degree. And a problem that we discovered, and a ton of our users had as well, is the annoying issue of having to reprompt and re-deliver client context to whatever large language model you use. So going to ChatGPT, opening up a new window, and then in order to ask a simple question about a client, like what type of social media marketing campaign should I run this week, you have to give it an enormous prompt with all of the context, who the client is, what the customer avatar is, right? All of the goals of the campaign. And it's incredibly frustrating and it's annoying to keep track of it all. So giving all the context of your client to ChatGPT every single time you open up a new window is annoying, it's time consuming, and it's prone to mistakes. So we decided to solve this problem, at first for ourselves, and now for you. So instead of having to go to ChatGPT, open up a new chat, and enter this enormous prompt with all of the client context, you can now do all of this with the ClickMinded Project Agent. You come to the ClickMinded Project Agent, you give it all the context one time, you can continually prompt it and ask it questions without needing to give it all the context every single time. So let's take a look at how annoying and cumbersome it can be to go to ChatGPT and need to give it all the context about a client just to ask a simple question. So the demo client we'll be using for today is retroaddicts.com. This is our fake demo site for a vintage video game e-commerce website. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, all of my favorite childhood pastimes, some of the most legendary video games of all time. So imagine that Tommy G Agency is a digital marketing agency that just recently signed on this client, Retro Addicts, an e-commerce vintage video game website. So one of the things that we found ourselves doing, and a ton of other ClickMinded users were doing, was they had to continually prompt ChatGPT prior to doing any work. First, they were doing small chunks of things. They would give a prompt, maybe a paragraph or two of context, and then ask the question. Then people wised up a little bit and they created a master prompt. So they would create a text document, save it on their desktop, or save it in Google Drive or Dropbox or wherever they work. And they would take that master prompt and bring it into ChatGPT for every question. So here's a good example of a master prompt for Retro Addicts. We can make this a little bigger here. So all the context for a new client we just signed, use this for all recommendations, strategies, campaigns, and creative deliverables. The business overview, when it launched, who the founders are, and this is all filler information for now. The unique value propositions, brand personality and voice, the goals of the campaign, growing the email list, raising cart conversion, target audiences, veteran collectors, retro curious newcomers, Gen Z aesthetic and gift buyers, creative guidelines, example copy, product listing, KPI frameworks, operational notes, content themes, etc., etc. So the people who wised up to this, they would save this master prompt to the desktop, and then every time you have a client question, you would use it. So here I'm in ChatGPT, and I'm going to paste my master prompt into ChatGPT. ChatGPT replies, got it, Retro Addicts brand context locked in. All future recommendations, strategies, and creative work will follow this exact voice, tone, goals, and audience targeting. Now I see something like Black Friday is coming up. Give me a 1-week social media plan. And there we go. ChatGPT responds with a plan for Black Friday. Now a new problem has come up. The client has emailed us and said, hey, open rates on our email marketing campaign have dropped a little bit. What's going on? I have to come back to ChatGPT, do the master prompt, and then add something like open rates on the last 3 campaigns have dropped. Help me come up with a plan to diagnosing problem. And ChatGPT starts to reply with an answer. But maybe there was some additional client context that got missed. Maybe I wasn't able to upload how the last few campaigns have performed. Maybe I missed something. Maybe there's multiple project managers working on this client and things aren't centralized. Things fell through the cracks. There's a better way to do this, and the way to do that is the ClickMinded Project Agent. So now let's go spin up a marketing workspace using a new ClickMinded Brand Project and a new ClickMinded Project Agent. So I've logged into ClickMinded, and on the left-hand side, I'm going to go over to Create. And then in the Create section, I'm going to click Create a New Project. There's two ways to do this, quick mode and manual mode. With quick mode, all I need to do is give the tool a URL, and it will go scrape that URL and grab as much context as possible. Or if I want to manually enter all of the client information, I can do that as well. Just to keep things simple, we're going to use quick mode on this one. All I need to do is type in retroaddicts.com and click Analyze Website. Okay, so that only took about a minute, and all of these fields have now been pre-populated, and I can make any changes to them that I see fit. So your domain name is retroaddicts.com, the brand name RetroAddicts, the type of business is a vintage video game e-commerce site, describing the product, authentic retro Nintendo consoles and games, the #1 provider of retro consoles and video games in the US. We'll add Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Sega consoles and games. Key features of the product: authentic retro consoles, best quality console sourced nationwide, in-demand retro video games, popular vintage video games from the 80s and 90s. Pricing is typically $50 per game. Our target audience, it's created 3 avatars, 25 to 45-year-old men, vintage and antique collectors, and eBay resellers. We can add or remove avatars over here as we see fit. Social proof, this is just a filler quote, but all of your testimonials or any customer quotes that you can add those here. By far the best vintage video game e-commerce site I've ever worked with, from Johnny Appleseed. Our country and language, US English, and we can click update. So if we're happy with the results it gave us, we could leave them as is, or if we have any tweaks, we can make those there as well. Okay, so we've given the ClickMinded Project Agent all the context it needs, and now we can start talking to it. So before we get going, just as a reminder here, in the top left, you can always click Edit Brand Info to give the ClickMinded Project Agent more context. So if things change, if you want to modify the customer avatar, you can always do that. You can remove things and add things. This is not some untouchable, unchangeable sort of thing. It's a living, breathing document and agent, and you can make tweaks at any time. So now that the project is set up, the brand project is set up, we can ask it things. So first, maybe tell me about my customer avatars. Okay, so that just took about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and the customer avatars that were created are here. Nostalgic Nick, profile's 35 years old, IT specialist, collects for personal nostalgia and social play. Collector Carl, 40 years old, vintage shop owner, buys for store inventory and differentiation. And Reselling Rick, he's 30 years old, he's an eBay reseller, he flips quickly for cash flow. So now we can do things like create a top of funnel SEO strategy for customer avatar #2. Okay, so we let it think for a little bit, and here we go. Create a top of funnel SEO strategy for customer avatar #2. Here's a focused top of funnel SEO plan for Collector Carl. The primary goal, the core KPI, the content hub structure, priority keywords, the on-page playbook, how we're going to get links, distribution, and a 90-day content calendar. Or I could do something like generate a slogan for customer avatar #1. And there it goes. Retro Addicts, relive your classic gaming glory. Or how about create a welcome email for customer avatar #3. And there we go. That just took a couple of seconds. Here's your short form welcome email for Reselling Rick. Subject line options, pre-header, email body, and welcome to Retro Addicts. Count on professionally restored consoles. Why resellers choose us. Call to action. Hunting specific titles, reply with your list. Happy to help. So you can see here, as your mind might start to, the gears in your head might start to turn a little bit here, just how valuable this can be. Yes, it takes a little bit of time to give us all the context initially, but once it's there, the ClickMinded Project Agent can save you an enormous amount of time because all of the context of the client is already there. So that's how we can give the ClickMinded Brand Project and the ClickMinded Project Agent a lot of the context of our client. All of that lives in one kind of consolidated folder behind the ClickMinded members area. But once all of that's done, you can also use that information for any one of the other tools under the ClickMinded Create section. So as we scroll down here, I could create a new marketing strategy, and I can quick generate it from the input I already gave it or make some modifications, but all the context we gave it is already there, and we can generate a marketing strategy based on that. We can also do that for a keyword plan, a blog post, a remix of that post, any email pitches and sales pages as well. So if I wanted to create a blog post, I can go in and do that. All of the inputs I put previously are there. There's no changes that we need to make other than the blog post core keyword. So let's do something like vintage Nintendo consoles for sale. And let's quick generate a blog post. We'll give that a moment and it'll come back with a post. All right, so that took just a couple of minutes and now we have our blog post. So the core keyword, vintage Nintendo consoles for sale, target audience, competitors, blog post, possible titles. We can one-click copy to our clipboard. Possible meta descriptions can copy to our clipboard. And then the blog post content all listed out here. That blog post is ready to go. And so just a reminder here that your project agent has access to all of these tools as well. So we just generated a blog post, but we could also do something like, create 5 blog post ideas for customer avatar number 1. Okay, so it just took a couple of seconds and the project agent comes back with some ideas. How to verify authenticity and condition of SNES cartridges. 10 must-have Super Nintendo games under $50. We have 5 ideas here. So now we could say something like generate 2 blog posts based on idea number 1 and idea number 3. We then get a brief message. I'll create both posts now. You'll receive them via email in 5 to 10 minutes. So again, ClickMinded Brand Projects and ClickMinded Project Agent. These are 2 concepts where you can load up all the client information in there. All of the context is ready to go, and then we can execute on specific tasks for you. So that's it. I hope that was helpful. That's how I like to set up a marketing workspace for client projects in 5 minutes or less. Now I have a challenge for you. I highly recommend you set this up yourself. Set up a brand project for one of your clients or one of your marketing projects and just try it out. Add all the context in there, chat with the project agent, and let us know how it goes. There's a link down below to check it out.